maybe something else too. But man, my buttons are not working. I've been trying to talk and push buttons at the same time. Guys, we love her. We adore her. Sunday morning, she's been killing it with Elle Dawson on the Sunday Morning Brew. The show's on fire. Big show. Let's introduce the one, Gillian Savage Robertson. What's up, G?
You covered exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say I have a little bit different type of coffee in the morning usually.
There you go. I was going to say that, but I thought I'll let you run with that one. So how's life, G? How's training? How's everything going?
Things are going good. I think I'm like 10 weeks out. Still way too far.
Yeah.
Way too far to even think about it. So I think like this week, last week, we're just kind of like getting like baby steps into training, kind of like picking up the cardio, being a little bit more stricter on my diet. Like instead of having like 3 or 4 cheat days, I'm doing like 1 or 2 right now. So just cutting it down a lot and just like slowly getting to the place where we need to be. But I'm still just on a high from like getting this fight, getting fight news. I'm just so excited for this fight.
Who scuffed you up?
That was the cage, man.
Oh, ow.
I shot and my friend defended a little bit. Then I went to reshoot and he moved out of the way and my forehead hit the cage. So
that's the worst. The worst is when you're drilling and you don't have adrenaline because you're just drilling and you're not wearing gloves and your hand, like your little hand bones get like smashed against the cage. It's the worst.
I feel like people don't understand like how brutal the cage actually is, and especially like the UFC cage too. Not even just like the chain link on the side, but the mat. The mat is so rough. The mat burn that you get from that is absolutely ridiculous.
That's why there's so many strikers in the UFC.
Watching fights, I'm always looking at people's knees, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that poor mat burn.
Grant gets it so bad. It's so bad.
Those UFC mats are rougher than you'll find anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, the grippiness has got to be worth it, right?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, like any show you fight on a regional scene, typically speaking, they have like, I don't know, that vinyl that's slippery as anything. So, yeah, it definitely makes a huge difference to have the canvas there. So you have that extra grip. And I guess it's like, it doesn't really matter in the moment, but post-fight, when you have a shower and you're dealing with those mat burns, is when you're like, oh, it's not worth it.
Insane. And like we said earlier, Sunday morning brew, very successful so far. Elle Dawson and Gillian Robertson right off usually the UFC recap and stuff. Show's been absolutely awesome. But a couple things I want to mention, we kind of went through, G. Anything else on UFC Vegas 102? I know you guys talked about it. We kind of hit a lot on Jared Cannonier. Open scoring came up. We talked a lot about Yusuf kind of winning for sure the first 2 rounds, and the third round was wonky, running around. Anything on UFC Vegas 102 you definitely want to drop on this show today?
No, I think we talked a lot about it on Sunday about just going through the fights. I think that Zalal had an impressive performance. I don't think that I guess he kind of took the third round off, but he also did enough in the first 2 rounds to really secure it. I think that Walter Walker went out there and showed how a flawless heavyweight performance goes. And I think it was a decent weekend of fights for a fight night.
It's funny you said his name. I actually have one of my notes questions for you guys. So I heard rewatched the show back. I know you mentioned Towson Teixeira and Walter Walker. So my question, we'll start with G, then we'll go to L. If you had $100 stock and you had to put it in one of those heavyweights, Johnny Walker's brother, Walter Walker, or Towson Teixeira, the undefeated monster kind of knockout artist, G, where are you putting your money into, Walker or Teixeira?
You know where my heart is.
There you go. Okay.
With the grapplers, I have to. I think it's a safer way. It's less like at that weight, say 2 guys do just decide to stand on the feet and swing. It's like anything can happen. Where it's like with Walter Walker, he just is able to take them down where heavyweights don't necessarily have the best jiu-jitsu or defense. And it just seemed he's in and out of there quick, easy. I feel like that's the more effective way.
100%. Yeah.
Oh.
No. Being able to wrestle at heavyweight is a hot commodity. That's why Cain Velasquez was such a savage.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna play devil's advocate then. I think Teixeira, as much like we've seen Sergey Pavlovich do it, we've seen Tai Tuivasa and Derek Lewis have long UFC careers on it. I know Aspinall is the kind of the best of both worlds, but he's just running through people. As a heavyweight division, if I can put my hand on you, especially quick, like I think that's a hard man to beat.
I have a question for you, Dave. What happened to Derek Lewis when he fought a really good wrestler?
He's 46 years old now.
What
He's
happened?
knocking guys out too, but there were no wrestlers in the way. Of
I understand.
I understand. There's so few. DC was already retired.
I was going to say what happened with Robelis Despangane. He came in an unstoppable striker, got wrestled in the UFC, and they cut him real quick.
No, it's very valid by both of you. So you're saying if Walter Walker fights Teixeira at UFC 314, you guys both have Walker, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think I'm siding with Walker.
I would lean Walker. Obviously, like every fight starts on the feet. You can get clipped, but if I'm on top of you, all of a sudden your chances of knocking me out are almost zero. So I think I'm always going to side with the wrestler. Tell Sean to
I know, yeah.
Sean's here to argue.
There's always it's
one. Not a perfect system, Sean.
I know, yeah. There's always one. G, I know, and we've talked about it. Even you talked about it even on air. Even Angela Hill has talked about it on her show, kind of on air, that you guys were, matched up maybe once or twice and just never came to be. Angela Hill wins again, and I know I feel like you're in front of her and you're kind of moving the opposite direction. But if she keeps on winning, it seems like the UFC puts her name out there. Maybe a poster, maybe a early summer poster, you versus Angela Hill at the Apex. Just
I mean, it's definitely something I'm not going to deny as long as I have the time. Because I'm like, I can't say it because I have denied it when I didn't have the time. I'm like, they offered me on too short notice for me to make weight. So I have denied the fight because I didn't have the ability to make weight. But as long as I have enough time, I would 100% be willing for that fight. The only reason, like you said, it doesn't really interest me, I guess, as much is I feel like after this fight, I go out there and have an impressive performance. I think I am going to be a little bit ahead of her at this point in the rankings, a little bit. I expect myself to be somewhere between 5 and 7 if I go out there and perform well. So I'm like, I feel like I'm going to be looking at girls who are like 1 through 5 after that.
Love it. All right. We put a bow on UFC Vegas 102. Elle and I were just running through UFC Seattle this weekend. Great card. The main event and co-main event, 4 very high-level guys. Even I feel like the underdogs, Brendan Allen and Henry Cejudo, bigger names maybe, and maybe a lot of people are putting their money on those 2 guys. G, out of those 4 guys, those 2 matchups, what really grabs your attention?
In the co-main event, that one's definitely one that grabs my attention. We talked a lot about it on Sunday. I really think that Brendan Allen versus Fluffy is like, Anthony Hernandez just really impressed me in his last performance. Yeah, he really showed a gritty, dominant MMA fighter where he was shooting, doing jiu-jitsu, going back to striking, back to wrestling, back. It was just chaotic in the best way possible, Yeah. So I absolutely love that style. I think that is going to bring a lot of problems for someone like Brendan Allen, who seems a little bit more, I guess, more jiu-jitsu heavy than like MMA grappling as a whole. And I'm looking forward to that fight, but I think Hernandez has it.
That's a great breakdown, G. I actually like that breakdown a lot. I'm leaning Brendan Allen. I just think he's fought, in main events, and I hate to say this, bigger names, like he just fought Nasruddin Imhoff. He's fought some really high-level names, got some wins, got some losses against him. I just think this is like Fluffy Hernandez's biggest spot to date. So I'm leaning Brendan, but I've been more wrong than right in my UFC pick. So you guys are probably right, and you had a better breakdown. So that's a good breakdown. How about Cejudo and Song in the main event?
Cejudo and Song, I know Song's looked really good. It is a great up and comer, but I think Cejudo is just a little bit too big of a task for him right now. I'm still siding Cejudo on this one, but I don't think it's going to be like an easy fight. I think Song's still a dog. He's still in there, but I think that Cejudo's wrestling is just going to be too much.
I like that. Me too. And he's a plus 220 right now. It's wild. I'm like, When it's too good to be true, it usually is. And it's like, I love Cejudo too. Like, I think, especially at a 5-round fight, big main event, like I like Cejudo in this spot a lot. I don't know.
Vegas, made an
big
error
moves
with the odds with Cannonier and Rodriguez. So it can definitely happen 2 weekends in a row.
That is true. Very good point. Anything else on UFC Seattle? I know there's Gene Silva's on the card. Anything else that jumps your attention, or are we good on that?
I'm always down for the fighting nerd. So Gene Silva's got my attention 100%. I know Basharat's on the card too. So I'm like, Basharat always brings a fight, always brings a very technical stand-up battle. I'm super excited for that one too.
Love it. Love it. Another thing we talked about earlier before you came on, G, was the PFL announced their female flyweight kind of division for their tournament. A lot of people so far, it's been out for a couple hours. A lot of people are like, whoa, Dakota Ditcheva is not in it. She's not in the tournament. When I say that to you, if you're hearing it for the first time, what's your immediate reaction on that?
I guess, shocked initially, but I'm like, maybe it just makes me curious for what her plans are or their plans are. Is her plans not with the PFL and that's why she's not in the, because I'm like, that is super exciting for me. I would love to see her in the UFC. I would love to see her compete against those girls. So I'm like, fingers crossed, hoping that's what it means.
Just imagine this, guys. Imagine, the year comes by and Weili moves up to flyweight, defeats Valentina Shevchenko. We're like, holy crap. Like, this is maybe the best female of all time. Dakota fights one more time in the PFL. Her contract runs out in 2026, February. We have Dakota Ditcheva versus Weili Zhang for the flyweight UFC championship. Insane.
Even her against Valentina, I would love to see. I think that would be a great striking match as well. And I think it'd be interesting because, like, she beat Taila Santos, who arguably could have beat Valentina without a headbutt. So it's like, if we're going like MMA math here, it would be cool to see someone be able to challenge Valentina again.
Yeah, I think we got a glimpse of what that might look like with Alexa Grasso. And then I'm not sure what really happened, if it was just Valentina just leveling up or Grasso just not showing up. But after their last matchup, I agree. There's just not, I guess Fiorot, I'm interested to see, but it's not the most exciting matchup for me.
Yeah.
I would love to see that as well.
I threw out an analogy like last week. Let me know if you guys like it. I see Valentina Shevchenko a lot of George St. Pierre. Jumped into the scene, was unbeatable. And to me, they're both more stand-up type A fighters. And they did whatever they had to do, a knockout win or jab or kick, whatever they had to do to win. And then when their career kept on progressing and they're like, hey, wait a second, like I can take these fighters down and I can kind of not get hit. I think after the course, who's the short lefty who defeated George St. Pierre, who didn't win?
Wait, say that again.
In the main event, who beat GSP but didn't win?
Matt Serra?
Nope.
Beat GSP but didn't win?
Lefty. Like, he destroyed him that night. Remember the judges gave it to George St. Pierre?
Hendricks?
Yes, Johnny Hendricks.
Johnny Hendricks. It was like, oh my God.
Thank you, Sean.
Sean's in the comments to help.
After that win, George St. Pierre's like, let's wrestle. Like, I don't want to stand anymore. And I think Valentina, and I just think that was the easier avenue for her to beat Grasso. And I'm really intrigued to see if she fights Weili, how she'll fight. I just see a lot of, straight lines with them too. Valentina and George St. Pierre.
No, I can definitely see, I guess, similarities. I think some of it might come with age too. It's just a safer way to fight, to be able to, like, her last fight, she just kind of took Alexa down and controlled a lot on top. It's a safe way to secure a win versus these explosive striking battles.
Yeah, efficient. It's less dangerous, guys. If I'm on top of you, you can't knock me out, most likely. Unless your name is Nico Price sometimes.
Yeah. Nico Price and Kevin Holland got a couple in there, but that's about it.
Souza, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. So I was saving this nugget for you for sure, G. I would assume you've seen some of these matchups. You guys talked about GFL on Sunday a little bit. We talked a little bit about it. I'm so intrigued. I have no idea if we're ever going to see any of these fights. I hate when this organization made these fights and made these fight posters with no dates and no addresses on them. That's a bad recipe. I'm just letting you know that right now. Throwing it out there. That's a bad recipe. But did you see some of these matchups like Yoel Romero versus Shogun, Rockhold versus Weidman, Renan Barao versus Uriah Faber? Like, what are we doing, G?
I said this on the show on Sunday when G and I were talking. Mike Brown did the math. The average age on the roster is 36 and a half.
Oh, boy.
So just to throw that nugget out there for you, Dave. Sorry, G. Carry on.
We also threw out the nugget that Douglas Lima is the only one that in the announced bout so far that is under the age of 40.
Wow.
I think they have announced a few more now with some late 30s people. But yeah, at the time, it was literally just him.
What? Yeah, I had only seen the first 4 announced, and all like Verdum 47 versus Frank Mir.
Yeah, what are we doing?
I'm like, what are we doing here? Dean's like, the last time I saw Frank Mir, he could hardly walk. Like, I can't imagine me at 45, 47, whatever. My body's already breaking down at 29. We're not doing good over here. I'm like, I can't imagine being that age, having to go out perform. I don't know if they ever are going to. I don't know if this is ever going to even come to fruition. In my mind, I don't see how physically how it comes to. But I don't know. Like, even things that they released that they had to trade Luke Rockhold from Team Dubai to Team LA so then they could make the Chris Weidman fight happen. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. It's like, guys, like, I hate to go back on this. Why would you make the announcement? Why and also I hate to say this too, it's a horrible fight poster. Like, you are a MMA organization. You guys have a ton of money. Oh, am I wrong on it? The GFL fight posters are dog shit.
They're horrible. Made it on Canva. I'll give you that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fight Bananas has better fight announcements than a MMA organization.
Tell them they should hire you.
They can't afford me. All right. Let's just say that GFL can't afford me. But it's a joke that, one, it looks horrendous, and two, why make the announcement if you don't have the announcement? Like, why throw it out there? Where is it? What date? Where can you buy tickets? What card is it on? Like, you just made 5 announcements to make 5 announcements. It's dead.
My question has still not been answered, I don't think. Is there drug testing?
There can't be.
There can't be, right?
Absolutely can't be. Like, there's no possible way that they could have drug testing with that many people over 40.
No, these guys have been out for years. Like, honestly, it would be detrimental for most of them to get off TRT because they probably need it at this point. Like, they probably do. And so it's like, I'm very curious. Are they having an issue finding a state commission that will allow them to use the weight classes that they're using? Are they having trouble finding a state commission in a big enough city that will allow them to all be on TRT? Like, what is the holdup? And why aren't we getting any answers is my question.
Well, even like a lot of the announced bouts that they have been like Team Brazil versus Team New York, then Team, I don't know, like Dubai versus Team LA. I thought it was supposed to be like team versus team, or like, why are we even on teams if we're just throwing it? Like, it just seemed, I don't know. It's very confusing.
It doesn't make sense. And I'm not even joking this. I think on this show, I'm brutally honest, probably too honest. Gee, I'm sorry. I just talked about my my love life. Yeah, at night, with my wife, watching HBO Max 30 minutes ago. You missed that segment. It was a good one. Go back and watch it. But I'm not even joking, Christian. If they called me and said, hey, the first show is April 20th. We'll fly you out here. We'll pay you this amount. If it's not a crazy amount of money, I would turn it down. I'm not even joking. Because really? I would. The reason is, I don't foresee a multiple shows. I don't see a future in it. I think it's a one-off. If they offer me enough money that I can't say no, for sure. There's definitely a number. We talked about stuff like this off air, L. But like, if I don't foresee them offering a ton of money because of like, where is it?
How much they've spent?
Yeah. Especially how much money they spent on their artwork.
I would go. Just because I want to know what's happening. Like, I feel like I want to be in the room. I want to hear. I want to know what's happening. What is going on here? I feel like if you're there and you're behind the scenes, you might get some more information. I would go just for that reason.
That's
I would just go to make sure it's real.
Yeah.
Is this AI?
Yeah.
Dude, I want to pull this comment up. I'm not hating on the use of steroids by any means, because I want to see the enhanced games. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but they've been talking about doing like a juiced Olympics for a while. I want to see that so badly. I want to see what human potential can produce on all the drugs. So I'm all for watching that as a spectator.
I love it. Dude, Christopher J, selling out, buddy. Hey, I respect it. I respect it. I did a brand risk. I did a Aiden Ross. I introduced Sexy Red to the ring. So hey, anything for money, it's a long line right there.
That's making it big.
She's doppelganger.
Yeah, it was wild.
Exactly.
I swear it was a dark gym. I'm like, Gillian's here? That was my first thing. I'm like, what?
Must have been really dark.
Yeah.
It was just like I saw just red in my what is it called? Something vision?
Peripheral?
Like my peripheral. Exactly. And I'm like, we're down in South Florida. I'm like, G's here?
Yeah,
and then I'm like, and then I honestly didn't know who it was. I'm like, oh, that's just someone else. And then they give me the card. They're like, hey, you have to introduce her. She's going to sing and she's going to throw $5,000 cash on the floor. I'm like,
oh, that was from Sexy Red?
Yeah, that's Sexy Red.
Sent me a video of people just picking up $1 bills out of the ring. I was like, what is this?
It was a great show. It was a great show. Oh my goodness. All right. I think
anywho.
I had one more thing for G. We did the Walter Walker to Shara thing. GFL. Oh, I do have one last thing for you. This is for both of you guys. So I don't know. I watch every fight on the card, first prelim to the end. And I think it was the first or second fight of the night. And it was a female bantamweight fight. And I know, G, you have first fight. Okay.
Yeah.
How bad was that fight? It was. That's bad for the sport. That is bad for the UFC. I'm not trying to hate. I'm the most positive person. That is a horrific fight. One woman looked like she was 88 years old with gray hair. I'm not even trying to be like that. She looked 88. And I'm happy she did retire because at least she had a little bit of that. What are we doing in the bantamweight division, guys? Like, what are we effing doing? Who's the champion? I know we have Kayla Harrison. She should be on every card. Kayla should be there live, I think. What are we doing in the bantamweight division? It's such a joke.
They need Kayla. Like, they have desperately needed Kayla. I do agree.
Yeah, my boyfriend walked out like halfway through that fight, and he was like, "Oh, how's it going?" And I was like, "It's a women's bantamweight fight." Like, that's all you need to know. That's the only answer. I'm like, because it's like majority. There's Kayla. There's Eileen Perez. There's obviously the champ.
Yep.
I'm like, there's very few contenders in that game, and everybody else. I'm like, even the girl who fought Jacqueline, the girl who she was the other half of the first fight. She looks like she has potential to be good. She just doesn't open up. Yeah. She just is so timid when she fights, but her striking looks good and she's able to capitalize when she does actually throw punches. But I feel like she just sits there and stands in front of people for so long. And I'm like you said,
forever.
Yeah, forever. Such a boring fight.
Yeah. And carry on.
I was just going to say real quick, G knows I'm her biggest fan. I am a Gillian Robertson guy. If you're a bantamweight, you are the top 4 bantamweight in the world right now. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I just think wrestle, dominate, boom, submission. Like, it is so bad in that division. Like, it's bad.
Dean and I used to always joke for me to just gain weight and go up to bantamweight because it'd be easier there.
Dude, and it's, you also can get away with more. You can get away with having a little bit less athleticism in the higher weight classes. Norma is sometimes fun to watch.
Yeah, she's okay.
I'll give you that. Like, she's definitely, she's a contender, meaning like she's in the top 5. But I don't know that I'm ecstatic when Norma Dumont is on the card. Like, I'm not getting super excited. Eileen is actually fun to watch.
100%.
She's had like maybe one that wasn't like super explosive, exciting, but she's had a ton of finishes, which is a big rarity at 135, you know? So she's fun to watch.
And then more than
Kayla,
anything
I'm
else,
excited to watch, but-
she's gonna dance, she's gonna talk on the mic, she's
Right,
gonna
she's a
be a
character.
presence. The female bantamweights, other than Kayla Harrison, doesn't do anything. Like they are just not even there. They're irrelevant. Like,
yeah. Honestly, that's a great point. There really aren't a lot of personalities. And honestly, like, as much as I don't like Juliana Pena, at least she has a personality.
yeah, for better or
you know,
worse.
like
An insufferable one, but
it's terrible, but she does have one. So like at least she gets on the mic and does something. So I gotta credit her there because it's like very few people are talking like Kayla, like Eileen. Like it's just doesn't happen, you know.
Mhm.
I wish Eileen had beef with somebody in her weight class instead of Tracy Cortez. That would be more exciting.
I still think that fight would be exciting regardless.
I agree.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would
yeah,
love, honestly, Tracy. I don't know personally. I've seen her in person. She seems like she's a bigger 25er.
Yeah.
Like she seems like she might struggle a little bit to make 25. Would probably be comfortable at 35. Why don't
And
you
she
make
can
the fight
wrestle.
happen? Yeah, and
she
she
can
can
wrestle.
wrestle.
I don't mind. I'd see it. I'd go watch it. I think she might do all right at 135.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting matchup to make.
No, this is absolutely accurate from Christopher.
1,000,000%
Like
agree. Like
more shallow than men's heavyweight. Like it really is. And how many girls are in the division that aren't ranked? That's what I want to know.
I want to say, because I saw the list like last week where I want to say there's about, I think like 34 girls in the heavyweight division, in the 35
Bandweight?
division, where there's 30 guys in the heavyweight division. It was just a little bit more, I remember seeing.
I'm gonna look up the number right now. How many
That's
UFC
insane.
women's bantamweights are
I'm not even trying to. I can't name 12, and I talk about MMA for a living. It's like what I do. I can't name 12 girls in the bantamweight division.
Let's see if it tells me on UFC.com. Women's bantamweight division. This
Can
is
you run
not
through it,
helpful.
Al?
Huh?
Can you run through it? Can you say some of the names?
Oh, I can tell you who's ranked. I was trying to figure out how many girls aren't ranked.
Right.
Raquel. So obviously you have Pena as the champ, Raquel
Okay.
Pennington, number 1 contender, Kayla's number 2, then Ketlin Vieira, Norma Dumont, Macy Chiasson, Irene Aldana, Mayra Bueno Silva, Eileen Perez, which Mayra just went down to 125, so she's gone from the rankings. Eileen Perez,
Silva?
Carol Rosa,
Buta Silva?
Bueno Silva.
Yeah.
Yeah, she went
She's
down to
big.
125. Carol Rosa, Yana Santos, Jacqueline Cavalcante, like Misha Tate, Nora Cornell, Chelsea Chandler, and Julia Avila. So to your comment from earlier, the fight that we saw that I think we can agree was not the best fight we've ever seen was the number 15 and the number, well, now she's number 15. It looks like she went down 3. So at the time she was number 12 and the girl she was fighting was number 13. So both those girls were ranked at the beginning of that fight.
The UFC lightweight division is like Benoit Saint Denis versus Jalen Turner. You're like, oh my goodness, 2 absolute bangers. And then
There are fights I get ecstatic about at men's lightweight that are not even close to being ranked.
Yeah.
Like anytime Nazim Sajikov is on a card, I'm ecstatic. I know that's going to be a banger. He's not even in the rankings. You know, it's just, I wish there was more. I wish there were more girls at that size that, you know, could compete at that level. That's why 115 is such a freaking gift, because it's by far the deepest women's division and probably always will be, you know.
Got to bring back Amanda.
Honestly, when Kayla wins the belt, bring Amanda back, make that setup.
Yeah.
That's going to be the only thing left at that point, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it, we really do need to keep Aline keep on winning, because if she keeps on winning, she can kind of become this, like the next, you know, girl. If she wins 3 more fights and keeps on dancing, keeps on talking her junk, I love it. Like she will fight Kayla or Amanda, God forbid if Amanda stays or whatever. Like her and Kayla in 2026 is like a logistic real thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Eileen is currently on a 5-fight winning streak, so it's like she's definitely on the up and up, definitely like close to that spot. I want to say I saw a graphic posted that Rhonda and Amanda are the only 2 that have longer winning streaks than Eileen in the UFC.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And like so many people, let's just be honest, I think because she is a louder and she does the dance stuff, a lot of people don't. I feel like from afar, I hear and see, they don't really maybe respect how good she's actually is inside the octagon. And hey, just keep on winning fights. I love it.
I mean, she'll sell it. Like
Yeah.
she'll sell it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what that division needs. Like
Yeah.
they need somebody who can get on the mic and talk.
Oh yeah, they just need eyes on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I'm
Like
telling
if
you.
she gets like super fluent with her English, like, and just starts trash talking everybody in English too. Cause I know like there was the Spanish going on between her and Tracy Cortez. I was like, I don't know what they're saying, but I know it's hot. Like I want to know what's happening.
I actually didn't even care. They could keep yelling like that in Spanish. I was sold in. Telling you, G, go back around the 28-minute mark. You will, you will see some rated R fight banana stuff. I'm sorry, I had to go there. Some analogies.
It was barely PG-13, Dave.
Maybe PG-13. Maybe PG-13. G, you're the absolute best. Sunday morning, 10 a.m. The Sunday Morning Brew. Elle Dawson and Gillian's literally carrying fight bananas on their back. Best in the world.
It's mostly G.
No, that's it. Just ready to get back to fight camp. Ready to go to the park with these two.
There we go. The toughest dog mom on this planet, Gillian, the Savage Robertson. There we go, G. Appreciate you. Talk to you
See
soon.
you guys.
Hi, G.
The best.